Shazam, Fury of the Gods. This is a film that is, the DCEU is something that never quite truly got off the ground, and now we're kind of stuck with these vestigial films that were produced and now just kind of have to be released before the James Gunn DC universe. They dropped the E out of the DCEU. I love the first Shazam film, or I love the family elements, the found family elements of it. This one, I liked it. I didn't love it. The whole thing of he's nearing the age of 18. He's 17 and a half. He's got 3, 4, 5 months left to go, and he's afraid of what's going to happen to him. And the whole idea of keeping the family together, I totally get. But the villains, there was something kind of lacking in the villains, and I love Rachel Zegler. I loved her I loved her as Maria. I love Helen Mirren. I like Lucy Liu. But to have Lucy Liu, to have 3 sisters as the bad guy, and 2 of them kind of switch sides very easily to the good guy's side. I kind of was a little bit torn on that, but other than that, it was still fun. I gave Shazam, Fury of the Gods, a 72 out of 100, so 3 stars, 3.5 stars. I love the themes of family, of found family. I also love the production design. And again, I'm not a CGI fan in general, but the CGI actually looked really good. I don't know. What did you think of Shazam?
I liked it, so I love the first one. I have hot takes probably it's one of my favorites. It's my favorite DCU film, I think. And it's one of my favorite superhero movies because of the found family. I'm adopted, and growing up, we were a foster family. We took in kids, and some just temporarily. And so that part really meant a lot to me, and I loved the emotion of the first one. The second one, I think, was lacking some of that magic, but still had a few moments that I still really enjoyed. Like the scene with his adoptive mother, or they're not adopted yet, but his foster mother on the roof. I loved that scene. I thought that was really sweet. So I liked this film. I didn't like it as much as I thought. I didn't like it as much as as the first one at all, but I enjoyed it.
Now, how did you buy the relationships between the kids in the foster family situation? Like, did it feel real? Did it feel real to you?
Yes, more so in the first one though. Again, this one it didn't feel I didn't feel that magic between them as much. Still with Freddie and Billy, I really like them, and I love Jack Dylan Grazer. So this was more his movie than anything at times. But I loved him, and I thought he did a really good job. So yeah, some here and there.
I like the Billy Batson character. I kind of felt a little bit of a disconnect between Angel Asher, Zachary Levi.
Yeah,
A little bit of more of a disconnect this time around than in the first film.
yeah,
Between the two of them, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but like Zachary Levi does the man child thing so well.
yeah. But
Zachary Levi being Chuck and sort of like a B plus version of Ryan Reynolds sort of thing. But there was something about, and maybe this kind of is reflected in Asher Angel not being in it as much.
yeah,
And obviously he's more grown up now. It's been 3-4 years in real life, so he's not the 13, 14-year-old kid like he was in the first film. And you're right, Jack Dylan Grazer was brilliant. He's great in this film, and I love the romance angle that they had with him and Rachel
I
Zegler.
actually
Yeah.
like that too. Yeah.
Would you recommend Shazam: Fury of the Gods?
Yes, but especially because it's doing so bad at the box office, I just want more people to get in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm kind of the same way. Where like I liked it. It wasn't perfect by any stretch, but I did like this film. Shazam! Do you think that they will keep Zachary Levi around after the reboot? Could they keep Shazam around in its current form as Asher Angel kind of grows up a little bit? And do you think this is one that they could bring into the new DC universe in the same way that Deadpool is going into the MCU?
I love Zachary Levi because I loved Chuck. So Chuck was one of my favorite shows growing up, and still I just love it. And but I don't like Henry Cavill. I'd much rather him stay as Superman if they were gonna keep someone, because I feel like I love Zachary Levi, but what is so special about him that they seem to want to keep him almost? I don't like because that the first post credit scene of Shazam 2, they're hinting why keep that why keep that scene in if they're not going to keep him? Because he's getting a little spoiler, but he's getting like pulled into the Justice Society. They want to recruit him for the Justice Society, so they could have easily taken that out, and that was the people from Peacemaker, the show, and James Gunn's wife. They could have taken that scene out and nothing would have changed. So I feel like they kept the scene in for a reason. So I could definitely see him being Shazam. And like you said, I think he does play a kid really well, but there's some disconnect between how Asher Angel um, plays Billy Batson and he plays Billy Batson. Even though I do not see the disconnect as much, I don't have as big of a problem with it as everyone else does. I do see it sometimes.
The cynicist in me would say that James Gunn's wife, Peacemaker characters show up because they were shooting this movie at the same time they were shooting Peacemaker.
Oh, maybe,
so,
yeah.
so if you have all the characters around at the same time, in the same way that Marvel did that with the Guardians of the Galaxy showing up in Thor: Love and Thunder, and I'm sure Thor will probably have some sort of a cameo in Guardians 3. I'm a little bit torn as well of them trying to recruit him for the Justice Society as opposed to the Justice League, because I'm not a huge comic book reader, but I always thought he was more of a Justice League character. Because
Yeah.
if you look at HBO Max and you see all the DC animated universe, he shows up with Justice League, and maybe that's just because the Justice League is more popular than the Justice Society. But yeah, with his dreaming of Wonder Woman, it is kind of weird. Yeah, why the Justice Society? Why not the Justice League? Damn it, Wonder Woman's over there.
Yeah. Yeah. They could have just taken that scene out if they weren't going to use him. That's what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And 4 out of 5. I think that's a good rating for
I
Shazam.
almost went down on it, and then I saw it again in theaters, and I really like it. And a lot of it probably has to do with my love for the first one, but I really did like this film, and I don't think it deserves the bad ratings. I don't think it deserves the bad box office.
Yeah, it's kind of hard too because it's a movie that comes out in March. I think for those of us that are movie fans, you and I are huge movie fans. We watch movies year round, but March is not traditionally like a huge blockbuster month for big superhero movies, tentpole franchise movies to come out in theaters. March traditionally was like horror films and comedies, and the fact that now we're getting superhero movies year round. Yeah, of course, this is why we're getting Shazam in March and not Batman or Superman. But we did get the Batman last
Yeah, in
spring.
March. Yeah.